Hello, good day everyone. I'm Marius Eman Garde. I am a licensed customs broker and currently working in a logistic company here in Manila. So today I am here to present to you my proposed topic for my thesis. So the title of my topic is The Problem Encountered by the Customs Brokerage in the Refund of the Container Deposit. So since containers are very valuable equipment, shipping line demand container deposit before releasing the containers. So a container deposit is often not required by high level of professionalism and industrial competency within all players in the supply chain, customs brokers, consignors, freight forwarders, warehousing operators, in combination with proper legal environment, ensure a secured transport environment between stakeholders. But in some developing economies, there are higher risk of containers being stolen, damaged, abandoned, or detained for prolonged period. So therefore, the shipping line impose container deposit as a risk diminutive measures. However, the requirement of container deposit, especially for long lag time in deposit recovery in some countries, does impact the cash flow of the freight forwarders. That leads to an increase in their operational cost, which will ultimately be passed on to the consumers. And customs brokerage importers and freight forwarders are having this hard time refunding their container deposit from the shipping lines. So this time, currently, the van deposit ranges from 10,000 up to 50,000, depending on the size of the size and the use of the containers. In this regard, the researcher would like to determine and identify the factors affecting the return of the empty containers, the problem encountered by the customs brokerage in the refund of their container deposit, and the result of which the necessary action or remedy which can be used as a basis for effectively implementing the policies to solve this problem. So for my statement of the problem, so first, the study will determine and identify the problem encountered by the customs brokerage in the refund of their condept. Particularly, the study will shed on the following specific questions. So for number 1, what is the profile for the respondents in terms of the type of the customs brokerage, their capital investment, the number of their clients, and the number of years in operations. For number 2, what are the problems encountered in the return of empty containers in terms of deduction from the container deposit for payment for the damaged container, for the detention, and for the cleaning. Number 4, is there a significant difference in the problem encountered in the return of empty containers in terms of deduction from container deposit? And for number 5, what course of action can be done to solve these problems? And for my hypothesis, there is no significant difference in the problem encountered in the return of empty containers in terms of deduction from condept. So, what the significance of the study? So, the result of this study will prove useful in so many ways. So, it will be useful for number 1, first, Fair Trade Enforcement Bureau of the Department of Trade and Industry. Since the result of the study can be basis in formulating policy that will regulate the collection of container deposit and refund. This policy will be great help to the customs brokers, importers, and also for the shipping line, since there will be rules and regulation that they can follow. For my number 2, the BIR, the Bureau of Internal Revenue, the outcome of the study can also help generate more fund for the government. With the regulation of container deposit, a minimal tax documentary stamp can also be applied and collected by the BIR to the shipping lines. For my number 3, the customs brokerage, The result of this study can also help them resolve their problems in the refund of container deposit in shipping lines. And for my last, the future researcher, it will also motivate them to become very eager and determined in conducting research related to the factors affecting the return of the empty containers. For my scope and limitation of the study, the respondents of the study were selected. So, number 1 is 50 Customs Brokerage and 10 shipping lines. For some of the definition of terms that we will be encountered in my topic is the meaning of consignee. So, it refers to a person or a firm to whom a cargo is shipped or consigned. Container deposit is an amount of money collected as bond or security of the shipping line in using their containers. For customs broker, it refers to a person who is a bona fide holder of a valid PRC ID. So, for the damage, it is a fee collected when the container is found to have structural damage and scratches, paint and rust degradation. For detention and the demurrage fee, it is a fee imposed and paid by the shipper, customs broker, or consignee for the use of container beyond the agreed period of time. For my review of related literature, this study is anchored on deposit. The refund system proposed by Mary Walls, a deposit refund system, combine a tax on product consumption with rebate when the product or its packaging is returned for recycling or appropriate disposal. This theory can be applied in containers since containers are very expensive. Deposit can be collected from customs broker, importer, or freight companies as assurance that the container will be returned on time and in good condition. A refund will be given back to customs broker or to the importer upon the return. Conceptual framework. The primary goal of this study is to determine the factors that affect the return of empty containers in Metro Manila and use its findings as a basis for effective policy implementations. The expected outcome will be identified of the perceived problems of stakeholders, customs brokers in refunding their container deposit, and the recommended course of action for the refund of container deposit. So here is the paradigm of the study. For the input, the respondents, the demographic variables in terms of the type of customs brokerage, with regards to their capital investment, the number of clients, the number of years in their operations, and the problem encountered in the return of empty containers and customs brokerage refund of their condept. For process, the documentation and assessment of the problem encountered by the customs brokerage in the refund of condept will be based through the questionnaires, interview, documentary analysis, statistical treatment of data using the frequency count, weighted mean, and way analysis of variance. And for the output, the factors affecting the return of empty container, problem of customs broker in refunding their condept, recommended course of action for the refund of condept. For my research methodology, this chapter will discuss the research design and the methodology, sample and sampling techniques, research instrument, data gathering, procedure, and statistical treatment of data of the study, and determining the problems encountered by the stakeholders in the refund of their container deposit. Sample and sampling technique. The respondents of this study will be 50 customs brokerage and 10 shipping lines, purposefully chosen for the study. According to Steven, the sample size is the total number of investigations that are required for calculating the approximation on population. The Kocharan formula for obtaining sample size will be used to determine the number of respondents that were sampled for this study. Using purposive sampling, the respondent will be chosen on the basis of container deposits the Customs Brokerage are paying. In gathering the needed data for the study, the researcher used a researchers-made questionnaire. The questionnaires consist of 3 parts: the profile of the respondents, factors affecting the return of the empty containers of the customs brokerage and container deposit in terms of damage, detention, and cleaning, and the problem encountered by the customs broker in the refund of their container deposit. So here are my sample questions, survey questionnaire sample. So as one of selected respondents, the questionnaire, you are requested to answer the items. So this is 1, 2 for the profile of the customs brokerage. Number 2 is check the documentary requirements. So these are the documentary requirements for the refund of the shipping lines. Then yan, for the damage, detention, and cleaning. And for the interview questions, so here are the sample questions. What are the problems encountered by the customs brokerage in the refund of their condept? Delay of refund of condept fees. There is no government body that regulate the charges of shipping line. Incomplete documents of condept refund. So other is the bankruptcy of shipping lines and other. So according to your opinion, what should be done to address the problem? So that's the sample question, and that would be all for my proposed topic. No, so thank you and God bless.